lot of people hear voice AI and they think of a black box, thinking perhaps it's expensive, it's very difficult, it's not practical, and probably not worth it. But honestly, once you understand how it works, it's pretty simple. It listens, it thinks, it responds. This video, I'll break down how voice AI agents actually work, so you know what's going on behind the scenes before you actually decide to implement one in your business. I run Sonor AI, and if you ever wanted to build such systems into your business, please feel free to reach out. I do offer free consultations, links in the description below. With that said, let's dive in. Okay, so how voice AI agents actually work. Step-by-step explanation. It's geared more towards business owners that want to get an idea, or anyone that is interested into the technology and wants to understand how it works behind the scenes. Now, let's get to the basics. What are we talking about when we say voice AI? So we generally refer to an agent that handles a two-way conversation. So just like a human, we pretty much have someone asking a question or saying something and someone else pretty much responding. So pretty much a conversation that is happening between two parties, let's say, a human and a agent, a voice AI agent. And what the agent pretty much does once we are talking to it, so it first of all listens to what we are saying, and at that very moment it transcribes everything that we said. It processes all this information that we said in order to give us an answer. So the thinking part has a bit of that package, a bit of that bundle, and then it delivers the response. And you probably noticed, if you've used voice agents before, that little lag that can be varied. Like, it's called latency when developing voice AI agents, and it can vary from 1 second to 2 seconds. That's generally the healthy range that is within this technology at the moment. Generally, if it goes beyond that 1 to 2 seconds, you should start to think, okay, something is perhaps off, we should optimize it, also because it doesn't feel that human. Anyways, so all this thinking part is pretty much where the processing is happening, and then once the answer is generated, then it gets delivered to us and we receive the response. And when it comes to businesses, this is generally good if we want to, for example, qualify leads, book calls, answer FAQs. So anything that is perhaps very repetitive when it comes to using phone calls and having to interact with customers, or any user, honestly, because it can be also internal departments or internal parties. So as I mentioned, there is, let's say, the different layers that are within that voice agent. So the text to speech, where we have pretty much the agent being able to speak in a natural voice, and let's say you as a developer pretty much have a choice on which, for example, voice to choose when you want to kind of build this agent so it kind of matches better your expectations. The language model, that means the underlying LLM or technology that is going to process this information that we are receiving. So for example, just to make a few names that may be more familiar, you have ChatGPT, which has 4.0 model, 4.0 mini, 4.1 now, or you have Google with their Gemini models, or Claude with their models. So you can kind of choose which model to work with. So this is how you kind of package up the thinking part and processing. The transcription also is pretty malleable, so we're able to choose which provider we want to transcribe our information. That can be important if we're working with certain languages, or let's say we want to work with a certain transcriber, we're able to choose them when building the agent. So these are all the components that kind of come together as Lego pieces that we can work on ourselves in order to build this agent that comes out as the final product. Yeah, so just a quick example of how the flow works. Generally, when it comes to in an inbound call, you would receive a call, or, well, it depends. It can be inbound or out, really. But the agent would greet, depending on the culture, really, because I know in the US, for example, it's often the case that the person picking up the call is going to say, hey, this is XYZ. Who am I talking to? In Europe, perhaps it's more of a, let's say, you wait for the person to present themselves first. So yeah, it really varies, but you can play around with that. But generally, there would be agent greeting itself, presenting itself, then collecting the information or helping the user in any way, shape, or form they require, and then pretty much wrap them, whether it's for booking a call or into the correct department, or send the call to a human in case needed. So that is pretty much a call flow example. Yeah, so why this matters, or why could this be important for a business? I like to generally stress the point that these agents are not there to replace humans. They're there to augment the existing processes in a company, because they're not ready yet to replace completely humans. They can work on the things that are most boring, difficult, and perhaps also draining. So they're able to be also available 24/7. So you really don't have to be always there on the phone making sure to answer. And they also can scale pretty easily. So you're able to make multiple calls at the same time. At the same time, you can also receive multiple calls. And when it comes to these repetitive tasks, I think businesses have a big opportunity in reducing the costs in what SDRs, human SDRs, would end up doing. So when doing all these low-level, perhaps repetitive tasks and automating them to a actual machine, it actually ends up freeing the SDRs to do more important calls, perhaps more sales-driven calls, instead of answering FAQs or working on these repetitive tasks. And also, it's very good to be always present for the lead, speed to lead. So, for example, if someone is filling out a form, we want to reach out to them as soon as possible to get their fresh interest right away. And this is very doable with agents, because they're able to get a signal, hey, the user just submitted a answer or a form, and we're able to get that form, call them right away, and qualify them if they're interested or not. Yeah, here I have a few just numbers to compare how humans and agents compare. When it comes to costs, of course, it's a lot cheaper to work with an agent, and availability, as we mentioned before, it's pretty much 24/7, or you choose when you want it to work. And scalability, you're able to pretty much, have, for example, 20 concurrency calls. That means 20 calls at the same time, or you want to increase it, you actually can. And yeah, it's pretty consistent, meaning that it pretty much delivers the same experience. You're able to change that as you wish working with it. Yeah, some real-world applications. So for example, we have real estate where we can pre-qualify buyers. So that means if buyers or sellers submit a Facebook form, we're able to qualify them, get their lead, and then we can call them right away and qualify them. So we're able to engage with them right away, and they don't have to wait us to call them. Healthcare can be really interesting for anything related to appointment scheduling. So connect to a CRM, and we're able to see slots available, FAQs, we can answer FAQs, or any questions that a patient might have. And general professional services. So it's very good for anything that is related to client activities, updating the client about current status, or providing them, again, more information. But yeah, these are just the 3 examples. It goes beyond anything that is related really to call and having repetitive call tasks. It really augments the work there. Yeah, so with that said, I hope this was a bit beneficial. If you didn't explore this opportunity before, it's an exciting opportunity for businesses to look into voice AI to be at least improving their processes. I don't say, again, replace who they currently have in their team, but rather augment what they can do and relieve them of potential draining tasks that might be repetitive and just, yeah, boring, honestly, to work on. So if that sounds interesting and if you want to see how this could look into your business, again, I do offer free consultations and I leave links down in the description below. So yeah, and also if you have any comments, please don't feel shy, release these comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing because I am making videos like this on a weekly basis. So hopefully we deliver the value that you look for. With that said, thank you so much and see you in the next video.